Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today we're gonna be reacting to Lil Tecca. Let's check it out.
Wanted to literally quit music due to his second album performing very poorly, being framed as a one-hit wonder by his own fans, to just a couple years down the line, completely
Bro,
reviving
a
his
lot
career
of people, I hate this, bro. A lot of people be like, as soon as you hit one like amazing single, bro, a lot of people automatically assume you're gonna be one hit wonder, bro. And this man Tecca took that hate, and he been releasing and carrying the summer ever since he blew up.
and back to dropping Billboard topping hits, now being seen as one of the most
Like every
consistent and
summer, bro, Lil
underrated
Tecca
artists in recent
comes up
times.
in
So
clutch.
here is why everyone loves Lil Tecca. So let's bring it back to 2019 for a second, where Tecca was just 16 years old. Yet that didn't stop him from dropping one of the biggest hits of that year, Ransom. And I don't think I need to explain too much about this song, it would simply go on to become a viral smash hit, originally debuting on the 93rd position on the Billboard 100 and would eventually peak at the number 4 position, a couple of weeks after gaining more momentum. And we can't talk about Ransom without of course mentioning the iconic Lyrical Lemonade music video that was released alongside it. I mean, at the time, this was absolutely absurd. This random kid just got a top 5 Billboard entry whilst being completely
Bro, how
independent.
old was he? Was he like seven? Wait, he was 16? Was he 16?
Now, as an artist, it's good to get your first breakthrough hit. However, it's as important to continue putting out hits so you don't become a one-hit wonder, which Lil Tecca would
90K
actually
on
accomplish with his
IG
debut
Live.
project, We Love You Tecca, released on the 30th of August in that year, just 4 days after
Bro, I just remember I used to listen to
his debut
bro.
project, We Love
I love this album, bro. I remember I used to listen to this like crazy, bro. Freshman year, bro. Oh my god.
You Tecca, released on the 30th of
All the way
August
to
in that
quarantine
year,
as well.
just 4 days after his 17th birthday. This project would include more hit songs, such as Shots, Did It Again, Amigo, Love Me, and even the Juice WRLD remix of Ransom. Honestly, the whole album is full of hits, as even just going through it now, some of my favourite songs are some of the least streamed ones, Side Note and Bossa Nova, straight bangers. The project would debut at the 4th spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart and sell an impressive 70,000 units in its first week.
Damn.
Outstanding debut numbers. Now, even with the project being liked and performing well, Tecca faced some criticism early on. Tecca won't be the artist you go for deep music or songs with insane production, and he seems to know his niche, making background trap music. At 17, he still has insane potential as an artist. Listening so far, there's no songs which will make me go insane, but they do serve as decent songs to save to the playlist / background stuff, which at first
Damn. Yo, saying that is crazy, bro. Imagine putting your whole heart into a song, someone just saying it's good for background music.
First, some of you may see as an insult to his music, calling it background music and in general not having much meaning, but really this is probably one of Tecca's best attributes in keeping his career alive for the long term. If you have the perfect formula, why would you switch it up? So then let's move into 2019, a year and 1 month after the release of his debut album. Tecca would drop Virgo World, 19 songs with features from the likes of Polo G, Lil Durk, Lil Uzi Vert and Nav. Well, unfortunately for him, this is where things got a little bit sour. The album wasn't perceived well, selling a poor 35,000 units in its first week and debuting at the number 10 spot, basically selling
Bro, but I'm gonna be honest, those numbers are still like impressive, bro. I don't understand people be saying they're like that bad, because to me, like selling 35K, that's in your first week.
of his debut project,
Or is that,
with Tecca
or did you
himself
say
on
month?
week and debuting at the number 10
Yeah,
spot,
week.
basically selling half of his debut project, with Tecca himself on Twitter being quite overwhelmed by the hate. I hope I inspired some of the kids that were just like me with this project. That's all I wanted. If I disappointed you, I'm sorry. Thanks for supporting me even if I let you down, with him later on even suggesting he's going to retire. I love y'all, but this won't be continuing as long as you're thought. There's like 30 other rappers that sound just like me, you'll be good. It seemed like the pressure of being a rap superstar at 18 was getting to Tecca, but why? Well, firstly, fans are upset with the version of Dolly with Lil Uzi Vert that was released, as it was supposedly not as good as the leaked 2018 version, leaving them disappointed that after a long 2-year wait, they didn't get what they wanted. Bruh, we waited years for Dolly to come out and it's completely changed. They really ruined Uzi's best song, and overall that album just didn't contain the same hits his debut project did. It still had 2 big songs with Our Time and Out of Love, however, the majority of the songs didn't even break 8 million streams, and from what I can find, most people just didn't find any of the songs to be memorable. They didn't have that same catchy feel like the songs on We Love You Tecca did. Overall, a mediocre album, and compared to his previous drop, a disappointment. It was unfortunate. It must be tough as an 18-year-old to have the pressure of basically dropping another Ransom, or dropping another album with the same amount of hits as We Love You Tecca. But that's the harsh reality of blowing up as an artist. One day people love you, and then next they're trying to tear you down. But even though it seemed like the pressure was getting to Tecca, the following year would get off to a better start. He would drop multiple successful singles, Jet Ski with Lil Mosey, Never Left, Show Me Up, and Repeat It. He would also drop his 3rd album, We Love You Tecca 2, with it really doing the same numbers as Virgo World, or actually slightly worse, selling 30,000 units in
I
its
can tell you wanna vibe with me. Just say you wanna vibe with me. Bro, that song was so good. Oh my god, and it was from this album.
first week and debuting at
I
number
forgot
10.
I
Again,
forgot the
not
name of the
atrocious,
song
but
though.
not the same heights he had with his debut album. Now, personally, from what I remember back around this time, my thought of Tecca was, like, he isn't an artist where I would go play his albums from start to finish, like someone such as, for example, Juice WRLD. I'm just trying to think of artists from that era Tecca came from. However, I knew I can rely on Tecca to drop multiple fire songs, like singles a year, with it basically
Who was popping when Lil Tecca was popping? He came from Little Mosey was there, TK 24K Golden, Dior, yeah, Juice WRLD. I think Trippy was kind of doing stuff. He was doing stuff in 2019 for sure. Cause I remember he dropped down a song of Travis Scott, bro. So many good stuff, bro. Like the late 2010s, bro. Like 2019, early 2020, bro. It was so good, and 2021 as well.
seeming like Tecca was becoming more of a singles artist slash hitmaker than an album kind of artist, which honestly can be a tough decision to make as an artist. Do you be like Tecca and stick with your sound as you know it works, but at the same time people may get bored and the sound may become stale? Or do you experiment, switch up your sound so you can make a full-fledged album with a range of sounds? Something like what Ye did, where he completely shifted from the rage sound to that, I don't know, industrial 2093 kind of sound, where you're taking a risk but you may also discover a new audience. I feel like these two guys on Reddit kind of displayed this perfectly. Did not change his flow at all since the last album. Don't fix what's not broken. It's just that it gets repetitive and the replay value is lower since a lot of songs sound similar. So yeah, he is making similar music year after year, but if it's working, why change it? However, at the same time, if you're listening to his 20-track album, it can get boring. Now, after We Love You Tecca 2, he would actually take a year break, presumably because the album's performance-wise, he was at a decline, so he probably wanted to take a step back and develop something new, which would end up working extremely well for him. So just under 2 years since We Love You Tecca 2, in the July of
He got me
2023,
bopping my head too when there was no music coming out.
he would come back with a bang, dropping the single £500. The song would blow up, debuting at the number 60 position on the Billboard,
Yo, when was this drop?
dropping the single 500
2023, bro. 2 years ago. It does not seem like I feel this song does not seem 2 years old, bro. God, how fast time goes, bro.
£100. The song would blow up, debuting at the number 60 position on the Billboard Hot 100 and peaking at the 51st position sometime later. At this point in time, it had probably been 2 or 3 years since Tecca got a top 50 Billboard entry, but it seemed like the wait was worth it, especially after his year break. Tecca took some time away to adjust his approach to music, with £500 acting as one of the lead singles to his album Tech, which would drop in the following months, selling 41,000 units in its first week and debuting at the number 11 position. Overall, very solid numbers, especially in 2023, as over the years with streaming, it's become harder and harder to sell higher numbers, with the album
No, especially no, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's harder now because of streaming. Because of streaming, like I'm gonna be honest, I feel like you have to really put yourself out there now as an artist and go on these streams to get your stuff like popping. Because most of the time, people who are listening to your album, bro, they're listening in stream with their favorite streamers.
containing some pretty big songs, Heaven on Earth with Kodak Black, Fell in Love with Ken Carson, and Down With Me, with Tecca overall leaving great impressions after his break, dropping a very solid album whilst experimenting with some new production. And what I think everyone loved about this album was the fact it was really the same Tecca we have heard before, but also slightly different, in a good way. He switched it up, but not too much. If anything, sounding way better with this new polished sound. And he pretty much had to do this. The SoundCloud scene he was once part of was completely dead, meaning that whole sound he came up with was dead. And we were heading into this new underground kind of scene with Opium, Ye, and Sofago, which I think Tecca adapted to perfectly. He's incorporating his older 2019 sound with this more modern sound, because on Tech there was production from Benny X, Cliff Shane, AM, and Thank You Will. As if we compare him to someone like Trippie Redd, whose sound is still that same kind of pop love sound since like 2018, it's a bit stale. And not only is Tecca evolving his style with new producers, he's tapping in with the new artists. He of course had Ken Carson on his project, and has many other SoundCloud songs with him too, even one of Destroy Lonely. He produced Sofago's biggest hit, Knock Knock, and also has some songs with him. Kid Leroy, Richard Mille.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did a there. Yes, bro. Oh my god, so many memories coming back, bro.
You get the point. I also think this is very important to do as an artist. Stay tapped in with a new generation, as it allows you to stay up to date with that style and sound. In 2024, Tecca would have a bit of a quiet year, not really dropping many singles as he usually would, with him dropping Plan A in the September of that year, doing pretty much the exact same numbers as his last project, and receiving solid reviews. As usual, pretty decent and consistent. And funnily enough, he would actually drop on the same day as Future, with a lot of people saying Tecca outdid him. Now I'm going to be honest, this project wasn't anything crazy, and if anything, I just kind of want to skip over it and get get to the juicy part of Lil Tecca's comeback heading into 2025. But before we do, I want to show you this. In an interview with Amazon Music, Tecca would reveal he made 500 songs for Plan A, really showing us how dedicated Tecca is to his music, which again, I just think shows us why he's managed to keep relevant over such a long time.
Approach it too differently. I kind of just sharpen the skills that I know kind of work for me. Just trusting my intuition when it comes to like beat selection, like melodies, and at the end, like we make 400 songs, and we just try to.
You made how many songs?
400.
Yo, 400 is
400 for this album
insane.
cycle.
And this was across. This was album. It took a year.
Yeah, this is since I finished tech. So out of those, we just
Whoa. Bro, this just shows, bro, if you're trying to be like an artist, bro, you gotta be on timing, bro. You gotta make like these artists are making 500 songs, bro. Apparently Juice WRLD had like 2,000 songs. Bro, you gotta really be grinding, bro. If you're really trying to make it music.
try to pick the best songs.
How many songs is that a day on average?
Honestly, I don't know.
Is that like
A little bit more than one a day.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, a
one
little
and a
bit more-
quarter.
yeah,
Like
something like that. But there's some days where I might record 5 songs. There's some days I might not record, and then the next day I record 6 songs. So
on the 14th of March, which many of you'll remember as the day Carti dropped the longer-awaited, extremely anticipated music album, pretty much completely breaking the internet for a couple of days prior to the release.
Bro, this album was the most hyped thing ever in 2024, and everyone was disappointed because it never came out in 2024, but it came out in 2025. And I'll be honest, I loved it. I loved the album, bro. It was worth the wait.
But you know who else was dropping on that Friday? Lil Tecca. He had a single titled Dark Thoughts. So with this dropping the same night as music, most people's attention was on the album, but somehow this single would absolutely pop off. The song would debut at the number 45 position on the Billboard Hot 100, eventually climbing to the 32nd position, and surpassing Carti's Evil Jordan and Rather Light in streams, with it supposedly being on track to be his biggest song since Ransom. Now obviously the whole music comparison is a bit skewed, as Tecca dropped one song versus Carti who dropped 30, but I still think it's impressive that even though he dropped on the same night as such a big album, the song still managed to get shine and momentum.
Now, but to be fair, that album did not drop the time that Cardi said it was gonna drop. He said it was gonna be 12. He changed it to 2. He changed it to 3. He changed it to 4. It dropped at like at 7 a.m. bro. By that time, everyone was asleep, bro, because everyone had school that day.
Now, this is obviously a huge moment for Tecca, as having such a big single means he will have way more people paying attention to him. And with him dropping his album Dopamine this Friday, this could potentially be his highest selling album since the original We Love You Tecca back in 2019. Fans on Reddit even started comparing the interaction of likes album announcement posts with Dopamine and Plan A had, with the Dopamine posts having 5x the amount of likes, showing that there's way more anticipation for it. So what, Planet A sold 40k? I mean, damn, Dopamine may sell upwards of like 60. Realistically, I think a solid amount would be 50. It sounds about right. Maybe if he has some cool features, he could push 60. I think he's having like Ken Carson on there. I'm not sure who else he could have. Maybe like Don Toliver. And actually, he dropped another single 2 weeks ago, Owa Owa, which had a lot of hype itself, especially as it's the first song released after Dark Thought. There was a lot of anticipation for that. So I'm recording.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the best way to blow up right now is to drop a song that people can use in the edits, bro. Because those type of songs are blowing up. Like one of Don Toliver's songs is blowing up because they're using it in edits, like anime, cartoon, like everything, bro. Just make a really good hit that you can use in edits, that people can use in their edits, bro, and it'll just push your song so much farther.
This after that album dropped. I'm recording this new section on Saturday night, a whole day after release. And numbers wise, the Dopamine is doing great, but I am seeing some seriously mixed reviews online. Lil Tecca earns the biggest album debut of his career on Spotify with Dopamine, meaning this album outstreams all his other projects on the first day, which is kind of crazy. Could he sell more than We Love You Tecca all the way back in 2019? That would be kind of crazy. Like, he outstreamed Lil Wayne on the first day with Carter 6, and Lil Wayne sold like 120k or something. But there's no way Tecca's gonna sell 100k first week. That would be absolutely insane. I mean, he does have 2 very big singles boosting his streams. Sell 100k first week. That would be absolutely insane. I mean, he does have 2 very big singles boosting his streams, but I think like 50 or 60k would be more realistic. And going back to the Lil Wayne thing, I'm pretty sure he had loads of sales because he has pure sales, like people are actually buying the CDs and vinyls. But yeah, I think Tecca could do 60k. That would be great. And now, even though the album is doing good with its streams, I'm seeing a lot of people say it's just not a very good album, like actually music wise, or more like I'm seeing split opinions. It's very mixed. Every song on Dopamine with the Buzz Lightyear gif basically saying they all sound the same. After listening, I can safely say he's not saying
Yo, I love people on the internet. They're so funny.
the summer, with really just a lot of people saying it's boring, which honestly I think sums up the video perfectly. Yeah, sure, Tecca's albums aren't something you'll play on repeat from start to finish, but he does always have songs that are topping the charts. And really in 2025, I said this in my Carti video, does dropping a great album even matter? Majority of these people get their music from TikTok or just whatever is trending.
But usually like 1 or 2 songs, bro. 1 or 3 songs that are hits, bro, and you're golden.
So as long as Tecca gets some
Especially if they
big
blow up on
hits,
TikTok.
he's fine. But yeah, from what I'm seeing, dopamine isn't bad, just not something you're absolutely blown away by. And really, no one expects that from Tecca in the first place. I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but he's just doing his thing. Dropping more hit singles, dropping another album full of great vibes, and staying out the way. Like, I'm seeing people on Reddit here saying, oh, he needs to try something different, expand his range. But seriously, why? Dark Thoughts has 200 million streams in 3 months, but he's supposed to start making something different. This is like telling Nike they should start making microwaves because they've been making sportswear for too long and making too much money. Like, sure. So yeah, I mean, Lil Tecca has done an absolutely great job at reviving his career, because really it was heading downhill after his debut album. People were calling him a one-hit wonder, his numbers were dropping, but he took that 1-year break, came back with Tech, and revived his career. So people may argue he makes the same song over and over again, it's boring, it's repetitive, but I think he mixes it up and adjusts his sound just enough where he can be consistent but not make it stale, if that makes sense. Overall, he's done a great job at keeping his career afloat, because if we look at some of his classmates, such as, I don't know, Lil Mosey, well, he actually had bigger than music problems, but I don't know, Polo G, Lil TJ, yeah, their careers are at a pretty terrible position. Polo G's last album sold like 20k first week, TJ sold like 20k first week too, and not only that, but all the press and
Bro, TJ, bro, this thing, bro, this is why you gotta be careful who you bring on stream, bro, because these type of artists, bro, they be all high, bro. Like, I'm not talking about like actually. I mean, they do be actually high, but like they be all high and mighty in their head, bro, and they feel like they can't do no wrong.
headlines surrounding their name are bad things. So not only does their music suck, but they're also terrible people that no one likes. You know, Tecca stayed out the way, no beefs, no controversies, just straight focus on his music and moving up in the music industry. Like, he pulls off the mysterious aesthetic perfectly. Like, he's not mysterious the same way like Carti was, but he does the perfect mix of like not being on the internet whilst also keeping his fans satisfied. Like, he keeps it pretty much strictly music. And as I said earlier, a lot of artists fail to evolve their style, sound, aesthetic, pretty much everything. They blow up and get content with where they are at, which leads to them getting sidetracked and not focusing on evolving as much, which leads to them being left behind and falling off. Unlike Tecca, who took a break, tapped in with new artists, producers, polished up his sound, and has managed to stay relevant. Like, sure, Tecca isn't selling 100k with his albums every year, but he does have a very strong fan base and does very consistent numbers. So yeah, Tecca isn't an artist you can say got you through hard times and really became a super fan of, simply because I don't think there is too much depth to his music. But can you rely on him to drop a summer banger every year and a solid album? I think so. So hats off to Tecca, hopefully Dopamine is fire and more success to him. I'm presuming by the time I release this video, Dopamine will be out, so let me know what you guys think of the album, and what do you think of Tecca's career in general. I hope you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
That was a W video, bro. My takeaway, bro, is that Tecca, man, I love Tecca. And I'm gonna be honest, you don't need to be a perfect, like, you don't need, not everything needs to be perfect. Like, not everyone needs to be listening to your album front to back, bro. Because majority of the time, bro, people most likely be only remembering like few top music, bro. All you need is a few top music, like a handful of them in your album, and you're Gucci. And it was like, catch you on the next one. Peace. 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 Peace.